What is the best fit for Aaron Rodgers?
I think Aaron Rodgers might transition to the media. I'm not sure. It's really hard to find a spot where Aaron Rodgers fits because he's a guy who I don't really see as a bridge quarterback or someone who's going to sit behind a younger quarterback and tutor him. But he is a guy who seems to really like to hear his voice and should go to media. Maybe he'll do a podcast with you, Matt. I like that idea. You guys can do it together. Launch one.
Love it. So I get it. So the best fit for Aaron Rodgers is get up. Understood? I hear you loud and clear.
That's pretty clever.
That is good, right? I like what he did with that.
Not here. I want to keep my job.
You talk about where he might go, perhaps the Pittsburgh Steelers. Speaking of which, our Louis Riddick had this to say about a potential Aaron Rodgers-Mike Tomlin partnership in Pittsburgh.
They need each other.
Ooh,
I
love it.
He needs a guy like Mike to say, hey, look, man, you can't do this by yourself. You can't be coach, GM, offensive coordinator, and quarterback all at the same time. I got that part. I'll handle that part. You just level up our offense. That's what they need. That's what Mike needs out of the quarterback position, which they don't have. And Aaron, quite honestly, probably needs that structure right now to go ahead and tie up and put a bow on the end of a career that is obviously first ballot hall. He's walking right into Canton.
All right, so Rodgers' debut on First Take is going to have to wait. Neek, you said he belongs in the media. Lewis says they need each other, Tomlin and the Steelers. Do you think Rodgers sees it the same way?
Well, I doubt that he does a sports podcast. I'm just throwing that out there. But I do think that on paper, the idea that Aaron Rodgers and Mike Tomlin could fit together makes sense because Mike Tomlin is a defensive first, protect the ball type of coach. And Aaron Rodgers is certainly very conservative over the course of his career with throwing interceptions. So that would fit. I think the harder thing for any of us to wrap our head around is understanding where Aaron Rodgers is mentally and if he wants to completely commit to a team and fall in line. And maybe he is. Maybe he's been humbled in New York and we have a new, different version of Aaron Rodgers that accepts his limitations and doesn't want the control that he had with the Jets.
And he's played for a blue-collar franchise before in the Green Bay Packers, a storied franchise, a historic franchise, Graziano, which is what the Pittsburgh Steelers would be in this situation. Why don't you think it'll work?
Well, because I've watched the last two Jets seasons. They're not. He's 41 years old. He missed an entire season due to injury. He played hurt this past year. He had the kind of up and down performance you'd expect from a 41-year-old quarterback, coming off an injury. And I just don't know. I mean, at this point, the same stuff is being said about Pittsburgh that was being said about the Jets 2 years ago, right? Great defense, good run game. Just don't mess it up. And it didn't work. I think it's far-fetched to think that I understand what Lewis is saying about they need each other. I just again, pure speculation. I'm not in the man's head, but knowing what we know of Aaron Rodgers, it's hard to believe he thinks he needs anybody.
And Bill Barnwell, how much better would Rodgers make the Steelers? I mean, are they an Aaron Rodgers away? We don't even know what he is at this point. How much better would he make this team?
He doesn't have to be great for them to win because they've gotten very little at quarterback the last few years. When they score 20 points, this is not a crazy number. It's not 30, 40, 20 points. They are 26-5 over the last 4 years. Second best win percentage in football, tied with the Buffalo Bills. The problem is they score 20 points at the fourth lowest rate of any offense in football. Tennessee, Carolina, and the Giants, only teams who score 20 points less often than the Steelers. So yes, Graz is right. Expecting the Aaron Rodgers from 5 years ago, you're not going to get that. But if you can just get the Aaron Rodgers from the second half of 2024, that guy is enough for the Steelers to win a lot of football games.
You can just take the word Steelers out and put Jets in, and we're sitting where we were 2 years ago. It's the exact same stuff everybody was saying.
He started bringing the Aaron Rodgers super friends with
points. They had a great record. All they have to do is score 17.
Where I would push back on that, Neek, weigh in here. I would push back on the fact that the Steelers have a stable franchise with a stable head coach that is the clear alpha of that franchise, Neek.
Yeah, I'm certainly, I proposed this as an option about week 10 in the season and was kind of half joking, and now it seems that people are taking it seriously. I understand the argument about the stability of the organization. If there was a place where it could work, I think Pittsburgh is one of those places. I do find it hard to believe, though, that Aaron Rodgers is going to go from the last couple of seasons that he's had to being in a situation where he can be the type of leader that teams expect from the quarterback position. And maybe they won't ask him to be that. Maybe someone else steps up into that role in Pittsburgh, and maybe Aaron's been humbled by his experience in the Jets, and that allows that to happen. But it's still really hard for me to imagine more productive Aaron Rodgers given what we've seen recently.
I'm still hung up on the media career and the podcast. I haven't even advanced past that possibility yet that Neek threw out there to start this
You're going to be the
conversation.
co-host.
I don't know that I can handle that. Coming up, we go bold.
How's it going, everybody? Villa Sports Network here. Just want to thank you guys for your support on the channel. Thank you guys for watching the video. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Also want to kind of remind you to don't forget to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment on the video if you like as well. But regardless of the fact, thank you again for your support, and hope to see you on the next video.